Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So my name is Roman. I'm from the Chicagoland area and I'm a wedding photographer and videographer. So at this point, my camera gear is pretty chaotic and I've been asking myself the question, will I be getting the new Nikon ZR? So the short answer is maybe. And the long answer is it's kind of complicated. So let's break it down. So if you watched any of my videos before, I like to break down my cameras into two camps, personal and professional. A lot of my professional cameras like the Sony a7 IV, Sony a7S III, I don't like using that for my personal work, personal photography. Most of the time, I wind up bringing my X100V to concerts and I kind of use that as my daily camera. I don't feel like getting a press pass most of the time and to bring, like the camera like the A7 IV, the A7S III. So, like I mentioned, my cameras usually fall into those two camps, and if they can't fit into a personal, professional camp, obviously there's no reason for me to have it. So for my professional work, I use the Sony a7 IV as my main photography camera, and the Sony a7S III is my low light camera, and I shoot some photos with it. And as far as my video cameras, it's a lot more complicated. So I wound up selling the Sony ZV-E1 currently about 2 weeks ago. And I also sold the Cinema 6K full frame. So why I sold those two cameras? The ZV-E1 was my long form tripod camera. I had a dummy battery in it. I had a V-mount and it worked good most of the time. But there was a few occasions where I set it up in a church ceremony and it overheated. And I just can't have my cameras overheat. I don't currently charge my couples for video. I throw it in as like kind of freebie and, I just advertise myself as a photographer. But if I want to get more professional video clients, I can't let that happen. So that's why I had to sell the ZV-E1. And the second camera I just sold was the Cinema 6K full frame. So that was supposed to be my studio YouTube camera. I was supposed to have it set up on a tripod like this with a screen and everything. And I was using obviously manual focus on it because the autofocus on it just came out recently and it's not very good yet. So I missed focus a lot. If I would move back or move forward, some of my videos were out of focus. So I also had to sell that camera because it didn't fall into my personal or professional camp. What was really cool about that camera, it shot in open gate, it shot Blackmagic RAW, like the picture from it was awesome. I'll throw in some video I took of it when I was on a work trip in Minneapolis. It takes awesome video, but you have to rig it out. So just with the standard battery, that thing dies right away. And then at that point, I don't know, you might as well get a Pixis or something. So I've heard the Blackmagic 6K full frame autofocus, they just released an update. So hopefully they fix those issues, but I sold it. So I won't experience it unless I rent it or something like that. So another camera I'm mostly using professionally is the Red Komodo. So I bring this camera for kind of B-roll, certain shots. I set up for speeches sometimes. For shots that are well lit and I want them to look, very good. Obviously, the record raw in this is amazing. Any footage I get out of this camera is just, I can tell it's not a normal camera. It's not, a Sony camera or anything. The colors just look cinematic. The highlight roll off is just, everything kind of looks a little bit better. I know there's a lot of hype with red cameras and everything like that, but the highlight roll off, even how the noise looks like. I like the noise pattern on this camera, and it's just, any shot that you take that's well lit with it, it just looks like a movie. So that's why I love using this camera also for professional work. For personal work, this is my small rig for this camera, and it's still pretty big. So right now I installed the RF to EF adapter that has the built-in NDs because I just got sick of switching NDs at weddings. So I did that, and it's still a pretty big rig. So it's not something I would kind of walk around Chicago with. I don't want to get mugged either. So I'd rather have My personal cameras just to kind of, take some photos, take some videos with. On the smaller side, I don't want them to look like a full cinema rig. So where I'm getting at, another camera I just purchased is the Canon C70, which I'm filming right now. Why I bought this? It lasts forever on batteries. It has built-in NDs, C-Log 2, really easy to grade. I love the colors that come out of Canon. So I think this is just going to be my tripod camera during ceremonies, during weddings. So this is kind of my camera setup right now. So let's get into where the Nikon ZR would kind of fit in this picture. So if I picked up the Nikon ZR, I would probably get rid of the Red Komodo. Because let's break it down. I use the Canon C70 as my long form video camera during weddings. I use the A7S III as my photo slash video camera, and I use the A7 IV as my photo camera. I can't justify to bring a C70, a Red Komodo, and a Nikon ZR to weddings. It's just too many cameras. And then, my two photography cameras. It's just too crazy. So where the Nikon ZR would fit, it would be the shots I use the Red Komodo for. So any B-roll, any like couples portraits, things I want to look cinematic, I would use the Nikon ZR, which I'm using the Red Komodo for right now. And I think it would do an amazing job at it. But the Nikon ZR is just so much smaller. It's just so much better. I can justify bringing that camera. It has a large screen, so I don't have to rig it out. It has red code RAW, so that, nice highlight roll off, that cinematic look, the extra stops of light and everything, and dynamic range and everything. It's just, um, you get the things from Red Code Raw in a smaller package. It's not the true Red Code Raw. I know the Red Komodo has, the LQ, ELQ, like the different compression levels. The Nikon ZR does not have that, which is a big thing. But what the Nikon ZR does have is image stabilization, and it's a full frame camera. I think those things is just amazing. You're getting basically almost a red camera, let's say 80% of it, but with a full frame sensor. Obviously, we know the red cameras that are full frame are just, out of the price range of most people. So that's why the Nikon ZR kind of excites me, and that's where it will fit in. And I probably would use the Nikon ZR as my personal camera too. Kind of run and gun, bring it to the city, take some photos, take some video. It looks like a very small camera, less chances of gaining the attention of people that, that might mug you or something like that. So I think it would be an amazing camera to fit in that slot. But I would probably sell the Red Komodo and I would buy the Nikon ZR with that money. Another part, you can adapt Sony lenses to it. So with me being mostly a Sony photographer, I have a lot of Sony lenses that I could use on that camera. For the Canon C70 and Red Komodo, I only have a couple lenses. I have a zoom lens and I have Canon 51.2. Those are the only Canon lenses. EF lenses I have. I have RF 50 millimeter, just a nifty 50, the cheap one. So I don't have many Canon lenses. So it would be perfect of me adapting Sony lenses to it. So kind of let me break it down why I want to get the Nikon ZR. Is the big screen, won't need an external monitor, just use that built-in screen, amazing small package, you don't have to rig it out. Second thing would be the small form factor. I can justify bringing that camera to weddings. It would fit in my bag, I have a fanny pack that I carry around, a couple lenses. I could put the Nikon ZR in there and it wouldn't be too much of an issue or anything like that. And third step, like I mentioned, Red RAW, compressed Red RAW. It doesn't have different levels of compression, but at least it's compressed. It's not, obviously files are big, but it takes CF Type B. So I have the Red Komodo and I don't have the Red Komodo X. So I use the older CF cards, which are very expensive, very hard to get, and the storage isn't as big as you can get on a CF Type B. So those are the things I would be excited about the Nikon ZR to kind of add it into my professional and personal life. So will I be getting the Nikon ZR for the next wedding season? Probably. Honestly, probably. What I'm probably gonna do is Sell the Red Komodo. I'm gonna rent the Nikon ZR first. I'm not just gonna sell the Komodo, and what if I don't like it? So I'm gonna rent it, check it out, and it would solve a lot of my problems. Having a smaller camera that I can shoot video of the couple's portraits with, while I'm shooting the photos, I can take some video clips of to deliver, a highlight video for them. And it would simplify my wedding day a lot better than bringing Red Komodo. So it just solves a lot of issues I have, and I think it's a no-brainer for the price it is. It's less than $2,500, and I can toss in an adapter, and I already have lenses for it. I already have some CF Type B cards that I was using on the Cinema 6K, so it'd be a perfect fit. But I want to hear from you guys. Would you guys replace the Red Komodo with a Nikon ZR? Tell me why or why not, and I don't know, try and convince me out of it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for checking this out, and sorry it took this long to be back. It was a busy wedding season. I'm still editing so many galleries, but I have some time for YouTube right now. And yeah, hit me up with any questions you might have, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.